Isn't that the
Lies, lies, lies. This whole
they're
list.
gonna get you?
This.
They will forget you. One
I
day we're just gonna sing.
I love that. I mean, I'm such an 80s fool. I'm such a fool for the 80s.
Yeah, every time I just never I enjoy it so much. I never know what song you're gonna play. I never know what's
Yes,
gonna pop out, and then I
I
just want
mean,
to listen to music.
we need to make sure, in case people haven't figured this out already, we do very little planning.
Not scripted.
Like we know each other so well and vibe so well. We got this. We got
How's
this.
your week going? I had to switch my
Um,
shirt. I know about the part, but I had to switch my shirt so
I
that
know because y'all means y'all.
yeah.
I can mirror my shirt as well, but there's actually nothing on it, so it really wouldn't matter. My head is actually pretty symmetrical, except for the spot on my tooth. Uh, otherwise, otherwise, I feel like it's pretty symmetrical.
I think it's pretty symmetrical.
It is. It's just an egg, so it kind of divides nicely.
Makes
The
it
week has
easy.
been amazing. It is so busy, and I want to just let me do this. Let me give a shout out to all of these HR practitioners who are just killing it every day.
Yeah.
Because as Jackie knows, but everybody else obviously is not aware of my full staffing roster. Rick, who has worked for me for years, is away on a 2-week vacation. And I said, "Oh, I'll cover part of your stuff for you while you're gone."
How's it going?
I like can't wait for him to come home. I love him so much more now because I just need him to come home. And I'm going to have words with
Listen,
his spouse about scheduling these vacations and saying you need to stop.
I
Um,
think that's a good idea.
she'll be like, "John, goodbye."
We're
Uh,
going to 2 days PTO
I'm
starting here.
I
Yeah.
right. Troy said you allowed him on it. Yes, Troy knows Rick. I did. I allowed a 2-week vacation, and um, it's very funny. We have a client whom we love, and honestly, they've been a client of ours for I want to say 9 years, is 8 9 years. Um, he goes away on a 2-week vacation. They get acquired. I'm like, son of a gun. 9 years. The 2 weeks he goes on vacation, and I have to do all of the things, right? 401k, benefits, new hire paperwork for the new company, transition software, like all kinds of stuff. I'm not complaining. I just mean I'm like, holy crap. So it'll all be ready for him when he returns on Monday. And I'm going to be like, I hope you're happy.
You're gonna have to fix everything I broke while you were gone.
All right, um, fully. They keep saying, John, will you be on future meetings? No. And you'll be thankful that I'm not.
That's
So
right.
very thankful.
Well, I'm glad. Be glad they're taking vacation. It's kind of like the stuff that we were looking at. Like, be glad that they're taking not one of these
Yes.
buzzwords, doing one of
I
these
want
buzzwordy
him to
things.
take it. I'm teasing, I promise. I want him to take his vacation. But I hate him for taking his vacation.
But also not at all.
But also, I told someone that I'm going to fly up next week when he returns, ask him how vacation was, pop him in the jaw, and turn right around, go in the Uber to catch my flight back to Florida, just so I can get out of my
I love
system.
that. I
That
love
sounds
that.
like a good employee relationship, doesn't it? I just recorded a threat live. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, sounds
it's
great.
recorded. It's literally. Oh look, hey George.
Hi, George.
I
Hey,
tell you what.
Nikki. Hey, Wendy. Look at all of our
You
friends jumping
know,
on.
you know how sometimes people think they know like how to do HR, but yet they don't know you know how sometimes people don't know the implications, like it seems little like, oh, you made a pot roast, I'll just leave it on warm even though the timer went off, and then it like dries out or
It
whatever.
sounds like you're speaking about someone that's very near and dear to both of us.
Well, well, the roast was really juicy. I have pictures. I have
Oh,
pictures of what it looked like before. I mean, it started with a nice roast, chuck roast, and then it turned into beef jerky. It happens.
it happens. Is it really his fault?
Well, yes.
Is it? Yes, there's no question.
I also this week started doing virtual reality workout. There's a workout that's called Supernatural. I don't know if anybody does VR
Oh,
stuff.
no. Yeah, yeah.
I love it because you get to go to a different location every week.
Wait,
Like,
this
I
is what
mean,
you're doing this workout?
yes,
Okay. So you have to
I
put the
watched
Oculus on or something? What do you
yes,
wear? Okay.
and my watch was like, it looks like you're working out. Like my watch kept.
Three, three question marks after the out, and you're
They're
like,
like,
don't
press
judge
this
me.
button if we
Don't
need to
judge
call an
me.
ambulance. They're like, don't worry, we got you covered. Your heart rate went up. Like,
It
uh,
it looks like you're going to cross 400 steps.
right,
Are you okay?
right. They're like, you've been running.
And you're like, I
Zombie
didn't run.
apocalypse.
I
Yeah,
walked to the kitchen. I'm not running.
right. But overall, it's been a pretty good week. I am, I did have a hard moment where I was like, this work is just hard. Like, it's really hard. One of the things that happens in DEIB work a lot is that you teach a lesson and then someone has like stuff in the background and they come to you and they're like, this was really sensitive and difficult and whatever. And some things it's like, you know what, you need to talk to your therapist about that.
Yes.
Like, I
Yes.
don't know why you were triggered or how you were triggered, but we're not going to not talk about it because
I
it really wasn't nobody was talking about you.
I just had someone, um, and one, at least one, maybe two staff people at Humoriso are aware of this as well. I had someone have a conversation with me to let me know how they've been triggered by some of the work by HR technology and how it's triggered them. And that was the word. And the person was very distraught. And it's really hard because part of it is like, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to help you. First of all, I can't solve the software triggering problem. I'm not really sure what to say about that. And so I'm not trying to minimize the person. I don't know how to respond to that.
I don't even know if it's minimization. I don't know. I don't. It's like we've been talking about. People depend so much on their work. Oh, thank you, Michelle. People depend on their work to provide so many things that they forget that sometimes you just got to leave
Yeah.
and deal with that because that's a distraction
Yeah.
and it causes like
Well,
my
they use
motto,
both
as you know,
keywords. They use triggered and traumatized. And I was like, if software has gotten to
if
the
you're at
right,
traumatized
right,
by Microsoft
right,
Office, like
something else is going on. And I don't want to even swim in that water, not because I don't care, but because I'm not the right person then to
like,
talk
that's out of my pay
to.
grade. Like I
Right.
go as far as I write it down, I'll file it, I'll make a note, and here's a link. Like I don't know how to get past that, but we also have to teach people um, to be able to advocate for themselves
Yeah.
and to communicate. It's one of those things. Like I felt forced. Nobody's forcing you, boo boo. Like all these things are so optional. I wish people felt forced to do their jobs.
And how about,
But sometimes people don't feel
I
forced.
love you.
They don't feel forced to do
I
that,
love
but they feel forced.
I feel like I want to say sometimes, I want you to feel forced to be grateful.
Oh,
I want you to feel forced to be appreciative. And I'm not saying that that means everything is great, but my gosh, I know you want me to believe the glass is half empty, but we're sitting having this conversation in the comfort of our homes and offices on equipment that we can afford, drinking a cup of coffee that with creamer. I mean, like there are so many things that we can look at and say, I really do have a lot to be grateful for. I mean, honestly, Lex, I don't know if you're here, but I've got my job sync mug this morning, and it's like someone thought well of me at some point in the history of time to send me even just a mug. Like, do you know what I mean? Like those moments of like,
Right.
really, you have to discipline yourself. If you don't do it naturally, you have to discipline yourself to be grateful for so much.
I think, but I also think like I get happy when people share those things with me, right? Like I'm glad that you felt comfortable enough. Like let me talk about where my um let me tell you what I can help with and what this might be. Like
Yeah.
I don't have another tool. I'm not making those things. And that it's like this. And I think I said it last week. It's like there is a point where we need to make a determination if this is the right place for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just not. And there's only so much I can take that. And that's not a cut on
No
anybody.
one.
It is, this is, let's talk about this, or like different software packages might be a part of the environment. Like if you're using Salesforce
Yes. Yes.
and people are like, I hate Salesforce. I don't
Yes.
want to work with
Yeah.
Salesforce. And it's like, well, you're going to have to still keep your notes. If that's something that you don't feel like you're going to be able to do, we're going to have a problem because
Yeah.
this is how I'm doing your, and you don't recognize the impact because it's bigger. We get caught in the thick of thin things, right? Because it's like, wait, everything goes through this. This is where our marketing campaign goes. This is how I know the activity. This is what I'm looking for, like all of these
It's
different
connected.
things.
You're sharing the big picture, right? Like,
But you have to be clear. And then I feel like sometimes we try to be so cool and oh, who's your friend? And we're doing, and then it's like
no one thinks
that you don't feel safe when you have to give feedback. You have the other part is just giving that fair, equitable feedback. We
yes.
just had a meeting. We were talking about people think they're being nice, but it's not nice to allow somebody
Yes.
to continue going in a bad direction and you can't promote them. And you're like, and people like the relationship isn't working out. That's not
I
nice.
don't like that you and I don't have emojis for each other. I want to give you all the claps for that one. Yes.
I know. I want to give you a
I
thumb.
want.
Lots of thumbs.
Yeah. This restream doesn't do it. Have you? But you all probably have. When you're on Macs and stuff, if people are doing thumbs up, like the Mac
Or the balloons or
balloons
the
of
things
thumbs,
or the
right? All
yeah,
kinds
yeah.
of stuff. But what you said is absolutely true, and it's it's hard. And Michelle, I love and appreciate that comment about maybe that person wasn't trained on the software. It's a much bigger story, and if I start getting into the weeds of it, I think I'll wind up outing someone that I really don't want to
Yeah.
out. But I think that if your example about Salesforce, I mean, how many people? I mean, there are so many of you on this chat this morning. Like, I hate ADP, I hate Workday. Like, how many people have we talked to who say those kinds of things? And I try to tell people, I appreciate that you hate ADP. I get it. Let me just give you context on ADP. I'm not here. I don't have stock in them. I'm not a founder. I get from
Right.
ADP every month, but I do want you to understand that they still are trending, while on one side that they trend 50% turnover annually. That's what they trend, 50% turnover annually. Now let me give you the other side. They still own roughly 60% of the market share in the
Yup.
US. That means people are leaving and coming back. That's what that means. So the grass may not be as greener somewhere else. And I'm not saying that there aren't, other payroll. Please don't at me. Everybody knows that I work with a ton of different companies. I know. But my point is just, it can't, if you focus so much of your energy on I hate, and you claim victory when we finally leave a product that we don't like ADP, there's a good chance in 12 months you'll be back on it, or 24 months back on it, because that's what
It's the devil you know.
that's what the metrics show. That's what we can
That's
measure.
right. That's right. And it's like but you try to do it. I try to use the software. I've been going back and talking to some folks. Like, are we using it the right way? Do we hate it because we're not using it right? Like,
Yes.
is it me? Is it
It
am
must be,
I the
it must
drama?
be me. Must be me.
I mean, the thing is, and keep in mind, I am my sweet spot is HR tech, so I'm always like, I know what it takes to get features ahead, and I'm like, y'all, they met They met for weeks.
Yes.
They voted, they tested. Like somebody thought we needed this. We need to try it. Let's just try
Yeah.
it out
Yeah.
first.
I had a conversation with a business owner, and I'm going to make sure I say this. I love this guy. I genuinely, like, we get along so well. And he's on his second or third payroll system that he doesn't like. And I said to him, I love you. You may be the problem.
Like, could it be that you just don't want to pay me?
I was like, this is how payroll is. I know, I get it. I hear what the issues are. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get a system that is everything you think it should be for a variety of reasons. So we can't, swim down this lane forever because you're going to be frustrated. I do want to make sure I say, though, I see Dan Lockhart's here, and it's very important for me to
Yes,
say,
and Michael Cox is here, and I love Michael. Y'all don't know. Back in the
I
day, me and Michael
missed
Cox
it.
used to run shenanigans back on Animal's Show, and it was like so many years ago,
Oh
and it was
my
like part of the
gosh.
squad.
Oh
Remember back in the
my
day, like
gosh. Good morning, Michael. Yes.
fully, and I'm like Michael Cox. I get very excited. I'm fangirling
I
all over the place.
mean,
I hope he's still here.
and good morning. I don't know if I'm going to say this right. Is it Dameka? Good morning. Happy to
D'Amica?
have you, or Damika. Yes. But Dan, I need to make sure because I just always feel like I have to be honest. Dan is kind of one of my like renewed man crushes. I'm cool with that. I just want to make sure Dan knows.
Oh, did he start working out or something?
No,
Or
for Dan and I, it's much more than physical. So I think,
oh yes.
it's
Oh, holy crap! LinkedIn user Rachel Kitty Couples.
now, oh, she came in through Facebook. Now it's
So now we don't know who LinkedIn user is.
could be Jeff.
Woo! This
Jeff,
is a
is it you?
mystery.
I know, Dan. I can't wait to see you in March. Oh, I don't know. Jacqueline might be remote for Transform yet.
Oh yeah. We'll figure it out. I don't know.
I'll be there, Dan. You and I will have our time. Don't you worry.
Just one more thing. I swear we're gonna get to some of the buzzwords, but one more thing that has really affected my heart yesterday to the point where I had to take a full step back. Full step back.
What?
I have had probably in the last year, at a minimum of 3 times a week, somebody reach out to me and they're in a toxic environment.
Oh,
Like they work in a toxic environment and they don't know what to do and they need help. And I'm trying to put some things together and resources together. Now, just starting with mental health and things that we forget. And I know things are going to get worse. Like I just know. So I just want to encourage and keep encouraging everybody that's in the chat to network with each other. Get and just know that people who are in here are good people. Follow each other, do the things to try to connect because, and even if you're looking at a different platform, go on to LinkedIn and try to connect because we really need each other. We really need each
totally.
other, and it's going to be a struggle. And I think the worst part is this like whole gaslighting, where the point where it's like, am I good? Am I not good? Am I getting these things? And like if you aren't getting feedback or you're not getting the right feedback or it seems kind of fishy, like it usually is, like keep your resume prepped, look out for opportunities
Yes.
and share a network.
I thank you for saying this. And I was actually going to bring it up because one of the things you and I experienced this week as well was we've been looped in together on some things.
Yeah.
And by the way, y'all, thank you so much for looping us in. I want to make sure we say that. Jackie and I take it as a huge compliment as I speak for her, that you all reach out to us and say,
It's the usual thing. What am I thinking now, John? What am I thinking now? What am I thinking
hey,
now?
I can't say that. This is kid friendly ish. Just messages we've gotten, but we were looped in this week on some stuff around continued reductions in force, particularly in areas of diversity, equity, and inclusion within organizations. And look, the reality is, and don't at Jackie. If you want to be mad, you can be mad at me, but I don't really mean it this way. We have finance and leadership roles that are making decisions about what roles are creating what return on investment. And so when it can be in some organizations easier to sit down with your HR, total bubble HR, which may include training, which may include recruitment, which may include diversity, equity, and inclusion. In some companies, they have it tethered. If that's how it's happening and people sit down and say, okay, well, cut half the recruiters. We don't really need the DE&I because we're not seeing the return on these things. We're not hiring as much, therefore we don't need as many of these people.
It's like you don't care about employee experience, obviously. Because that's part of the job. Oh, I want to get back. Can we get? Hold on.
Yeah. What do you want? I can share. Who do you want me to share?
First I want to get back to Wendy. Where'd it go? Wendy, here it is. I got it.
Oh,
there. Yeah, you do it. You do it. This is more fun this way. We'll come back to what you were saying, but this is talking about the implementation, yes, and be a part of it. Like,
yes.
Don't be the guy who buys the software and the people that have to do the assignment doesn't get a say, or
well, and don't be the HR department. Don't be the HR department that picks software that makes your job the easiest, and that's the only consideration. Because the vast majority of staff will be using the same platform. So if the employee experience is poor, even if the HR experience is pretty good, you can't decide that HR is more important than all of the rest of staff. If the mobile app isn't good or whatever these pieces are, you have to really be considerate of the whole organization, not just your little bubble. Sorry, HR. Sorry.
Yeah. That I love what Michael said. We do need to figure out something where we can have a small tactical team to know and help these people that are in these toxic environments. I just can't. It just hurts. It just hurts.
Yes.
Because it's not at this point what we know, and it kind of goes along with what goes back to I can't leave, and what Michelle is saying, that people are not leaving because of the economy.
Yes.
Their benefits are being cut. The employee engagement is being cut. Their home work stipend is being cut. They're having to pay more money because now they're having to go back into the office. And then when you go back to the office, these are people that are getting othered or outed, and it's just not conducive. We know it's only beneficial to certain people, and it is so painful to know that it's already a toxic environment when I was at home, and now I'm going to be othered. I'm going to be judged on my shoes and the way I look,
right.
And people and everybody. Now my hair and all of these things, like, it just hurts. And also this. It was so hard this past week. I had to tell somebody no.
But it's good enough.
Because I have to give it to myself. One of the commitments that I'm trying to work on, and I have to remind myself I'm working on my book, and I have my black wing collection of pencils.
You did get it. Oh, awesome.
I did get the black wing pencils, and
can you pick one out?
This is the audition. Sure. This is the audition pack of pencils. And so you can see, like, they all have this kind of eraser, and I had to remind myself that I'll let you Google why they're so special. Like, and it's ridiculous. Like, this is a pearl and this is a 602, because some of us are just weird like that.
I don't think it's weird. I love that you're using that. We both are working on our books. Come on. We're both working on them.
We have to hurry up and work on them before people accuse us of it being AI. And that's part of the reason why I got my pencil. I'm actually physically writing it.
I'm not. I'm typing it, but whatever.
I'm gonna type it, but I'm writing ideas.
You can at me around this AI stuff. Not much I can do. For Pete's sake, I have hundreds and hundreds of blogs of written that are already out online that people are using to write their own books. Don't think I don't know who you are. Use my
to help navigate through the space. I just want to help people navigate.
Oh my gosh, Dan, I need to share this. Latest Cobra coverage that I looked at was $3,300. Now, who can afford this? I had, Dan, I love that you shared that. Thank you. Because I love it just in terms of real information, right? This is what we have people who are dealing with. Dan, you want to write my book, by the way?
Dan,
the idea, I'll give you ghostwriter, props. The issue is
this is written by Dan with my name on it.
That's right. It's all my ideas.
Forward of the book.
I just, that's how we do these things. But I just had a conversation. So yesterday I was privileged enough in the in the county where our corporate offices are in Florida, I was asked to be on a very small but mighty panel for talent. Where is the talent in our county, and how do we build organizations that will help us attract the talent that we need in our county?
Did you say at the beach?
I was like, move the office to the beach and pay for everything now. But what do we have? Well, in this county, we have things like we have labor related roles. We've got construction, we have distribution, and we have groves, orchards, right? Juice manufacturers, those kinds of things that happen here in Florida. And you're going to pay people $15 an hour for some of those things. And look, fine. That's all well and good. $15 an hour, full time, 31 grand and change, right? A year. Tell me how you're going to live on that when rent is $1,900 a month. What?
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. And that's a 2-bedroom. So you've got 6 people living in a 2-bedroom because that's the only way they can make this stretch. And so that I had to bring that up yesterday. I won't be asked back to that panel. But I brought it up yesterday to say, I'm not telling you have to pay more, but I am saying to you, we got to figure out more creative ways to sort of help with some of that, because you're never going to get talent to live here. They're going to have to commute 30 minutes to come here. And
look what Dan said. This is brilliant. Print free menus for local restaurants that say you're hiring in the area.
First of all, Dan, this is how I feel about that. I think your idea is great. Here's the problem. We ain't got no diners in this area. Nobody understands.
Oh, yeah,
I want to open a diner so badly, because this stuff, I'm part of this Facebook group. Now you touch a nerve, Dan.
Stop.
Here we go.
Listen, we're almost 30 minutes in.
I don't care. Listen to me. I'm in this Facebook group in this town about food, Vero Beach foodies. And someone every so often will say,
no one can
what's the best Italian?
You are so off the rails.
Off the rails.
No.
What's the best Italian food?
Italian
These people who are answering such and such is the best. Listen, y'all. It's Stouffer's frozen that they reheat and stick in a ramekin. Stop.
Thank you, John.
Stop. Okay.
Thank you. And I hope the people from next door in your neighborhood have seen that.
It's not next door. It's Facebook. And I don't care. At me on Facebook. And poor Kathy gets the brunt of it. We're sitting on the couch next to each other. I'm like, look at this. They think this place is great Italian. What are they doing?
They gave 5 stars to Olive Garden.
She does this. She just reaches over and pets my hand. Okay.
Yeah,
okay, hon. All right.
It's Stouffer's again. I just found a really cool buzzword that I think you'd like. They're calling it quit talk.
Ooh.
Like that same lady instead of TikTok, quit talk. The new trend that follows people's cameras, because that lady started a whole new thing. You look up, there's a hashtag quit talk, which is called also loud quitting.
Don't have me
people
on that.
Filming themselves getting filmed while they're getting fired.
Listen, first of all, the entire staff at Humoriso knows to make sure I'm not on any phone calls that are of any importance with any employees, because they're terrified of what I'm going to say. That's number one. Number two, if I'm privileged enough to be on that call, record me. Record me. Go ahead.
See, that Stouffer's got him so riled up.
I'll be like, yeah, you're being fired for performance. First of all, and then you're going to tell me, this is what I've done in my performance.
First of all,
I'm going to say, okay.
Stouffer's.
Okay.
Second of all,
here's the metric. You made 3,000 calls today. Thank you. You had 0 sales. I don't care if you made 3,000 or 300 calls. Did you sell anything? No. That's the issue.
You could have made 1 call, 1 deal, and you could have taken the rest of the day.
You had the rest of the day off. Now.
John, how many cups of coffee have you had?
This is why I'm not on TikTok, because my account will be blocked all over the place.
I know. Here's something. I've never heard of this before, called productivity theater.
I I don't think.
A way for an employee to seem more productive by hacking digital
Wait, are you
communications
looking at
like
this
Slack or
list? I want
Teams.
to be where you are. Oh, I do see it.
Yeah, I'm number 30. The employee wants to seem more available and busier than they are. They seem to be working overtime. Is that what happens when I'm, because people think I do that. I'm like, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I got to go to the bathroom and then I respond on
Oh,
Slack.
I don't do
I
that.
have to stop
Oh,
myself.
don't
I
do
so
that.
bad.
Why are you doing
I
that?
sent Rachel Kitty Couples one when I had to go get surgery and like I forgot. And I was like, oh, I need to tell you something before I forgot. And then I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to think that this is such a big deal. And it's not. I just had to go to the bathroom, but I couldn't do that.
Josh Rock, I love you, buddy.
You right.
Right?
You right.
You made more than one call. Listen, calling your lawyer doesn't count as a work-related call, buddy. I just want to tell you. I like this. Because you know how I feel about influencers. You know how I feel about it. So here we are now with workfluencer. How exciting! How
I love that there's a new category.
Workfluencers share work content on social media platforms such as TikTok and LinkedIn. In case you don't know what social media platforms are, and these workfluencers are turning these videos into a side hustle to earn extra income. How? How?
No, they not. That's
How?
a lie
I
from
think that's a
Target.
lie. And your company may feel some sort of way about that, actually. If you're talking about internal work product and process that you're posting, they may feel some sort of way. You might want to be careful about that.
I'm sorry, but it's
What is it? Because you think I'm all whipped up.
you are. It's making me
I
laugh.
know.
I love this one, perk
That
session.
sounds kind of,
That's exactly what you were talking
yeah,
about,
it
a
is.
perk
Yes.
session where it's like, we're taking away the free lunch and the ping pong table and no more pet insurance and
And by the way,
your K cup.
I
No
love
more K cup.
this because, by the way, some of this is actually protected by law. So you may be, as an employee, under the impression that you've got what is this called? That there's a perk session going
Perk
on,
session.
and they're taking away commuter benefits, which is one of the things I know they list here.
Yeah.
You need to make sure, especially for those of you that are working remotely, they may say, well, you work from home. We don't need to give you commuter benefits because you live in New York or where, if a state like that. And it's like, no, that's actually not the option. Just because I work from home doesn't mean you get to take away the commuter benefits. That
No.
has to be a benefit you offer. And mind your business
That's
about what I'm doing with my MTA card.
right. Mind your business. That is like, check yourself.
Yeah.
Put that on a shirt.
Yes. And Rachel, absolutely. Rachel is a workfluencer. Rachel is because
Yes.
in the recruiting world, talent acquisition world, you are doing branding, right? So you're
That
doing
is the
employer
job.
branding. Yeah, it's part of your job. That makes sense. So now we need to call Rachel another title of workfluencer.
I look at what Dan
I
said. He
know.
read
I
an
did see
article
that
that people
article.
were quitting.
I did see that article
That's
that Marin shared.
horrible.
By the way, somebody tell Marin that we mentioned her. We got to get her out of bed.
Tell her.
Tell her.
Somebody's going to tell her. Number 33, social loafing.
No.
People exert less effort when working in a group setting. I tell you what, I can't work in a group setting. I have worked for over 10 years from home. Like, even my sister has been here for like a week. And even when I'm in there, like trying to make toast, and she's like, oh, hey, what are you having for breakfast? I'm like, would you shut up? Like, I'm so used to having silence that
Silent,
I work that
right?
I cannot. Oh. Sorry. I love that Rachel is going to add workfluencer.
Do it and go to your boss and demand more money.
Don't do that. You're going to get your feelings hurt.
Do it.
You are going to get your feelings hurt.
I do think that, however, I will say this about social loafing. I guarantee you there are people on this call this morning. And again, I'm going to stop every time. We love that so many of you join us for this. We have such a good time. You've all had those group projects in school where one person really just tries to live off of the work that everybody else is doing. Yeah. I was the guy who did the work, and then I felt some sort of way about the person who was just putting their name on the paper. And if that is happening in your workplace, I want to just tell you, like, those feelings from back in middle school are going to just come forward to work, and you're going to wind up causing some division.
And let me tell you the shocker. Every time I did a group presentation, I was the one who had to give the presentation.
Well, that's not a shocker.
Not a shocker.
No.
I used to be the one, so I would always just kind of like put the things around it and then have to give the present. Um,
Glass.
but I mean,
Did you see this one?
what glass cliff? This is a good one.
Yeah, tell
Keep
me,
going.
have you heard this one before? Because contextually,
Yes,
oh, you have. Okay.
yes, and we've seen it. It is when women are promoted during difficult times, and it's like they're to take the fall, end up being the fall guy for the organization. Like they just had some sexual harassment piece. We've seen that so many times. So we've seen it where you get all these jobs, and it happens not just to women. It happens to especially women, where it's like, oh, now's my shot. Or people of color. We saw it at McDonald's with people with the all of a sudden they put this black guy. They act like they're doing a favor, putting him in the thing when the company's like sucks. It starts doing better, and then he's got to go. And we see people end up leaving because they're doing it the way that they do it, which might be different, and then people feel uncomfortable and want to change the policies
Yeah.
back to where because it's just too drastic, too much. People are going crazy.
Yep. Yep. And it isn't a long-term play. And I think that when it's a short-term perspective like that, it's tough because organizations sometimes can be really short-sighted. And the problem is that when the long-term reality of the decision you made and why you made it comes back to bite you in the rear end, that's a whole lot of triage then that has to happen from a branding standpoint, how you fit in the marketplace, really a very emboldened candidate market that's going to feel some sort of way about the fact that you've done some of this kind of glass cliff hiring in the past. I mean, that will get around for sure.
But some people know and they just don't care.
I mean, there's always going to be people that don't care. But if you already are struggling with a
Fix it,
talent
John.
pool,
Make them care, John.
well,
Make them.
here's how I'll tell you how to care. Let's just say I'm being conservative for a second. Let's say 25%, a quarter of your candidate pool cares about this.
Okay.
If you already are struggling to find talent, why would you want to cut out a quarter of that talent pool? Why? That's just numbers. That's how.
You know what? You know what? What?
Why? Right? Come on.
That's everything.
Right. That's what everybody has to be
Why
thoughtful
would you
of
do
in
that?
conversations. That it's not
Why?
just, oh,
Why does that make sense?
you
How
know
does that
what,
make sense?
I'm going to do the face. I'm going to do the face because this is what some of our C-suite executives think sometimes. Oh, it's not the right thing to do. We have to be better. That's what they
And they
hear.
sound just like that.
Right. That's what they think sometimes. They're like, oh, they're just sort of the social benefit people. No, let me give you this HR face that wants to say to you, you're cutting out a portion of your candidate pool and we're already struggling to hire talent. We're doing that to ourselves. So now what?
That's right. Oh, we just count. It's just a requirement, and so we ask all of our people to be fair and equitable, and it's just a policy, and so we don't need to invest any money. We just trust that our people are doing great things because we all do great things, right? You
Listen,
seen our carbon emissions? Nobody's driving here. No one's using ink or paper. Nobody's using the internet
nobody.
because we care so much. They do it all by themselves. By the
But I
Morse
do want
code.
to say, all y'all with those Teslas that were frozen over and you couldn't get into your car a couple weeks ago, ooh, that ain't helping.
Listen to
That
me.
ain't helping. Ooh, Dan,
The other day, we were
that.
talking about technology, and I was like, I had to show myself. I was like, when I started, not show, I had to show my age, not myself. He literally fell out of the chair, dead, heart attack, full stroke. I had.
Times are tough. I had to
somebody
show
about
myself.
Remember inter-office mail?
Oh,
I was explaining to them inter-office mail, and they looked at me like I had 3 heads.
well, do you still have one of those manila
Envelopes?
folder? Do you have one? I mean, that would be really good. We should do a
I
show and
probably
tell
do
one.
somewhere with the. I'm gonna look. I probably
We
have
should
an
do
inter-office mail.
carbon triplicate paper. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
remember
press
doing that?
hard, black or blue.
Oh Lord, yes. I'm gonna go see if I can find the dot matrix printer paper, with the feed, the whole feed on either side, pulling that paper. Nightmares, y'all. I have nightmares of that printer in my head.
Look.
If I'm sick, I start to have like Hallucinations, I just hear.
Wendy is preaching, by the way. Wendy is full preaching. Wendy stepped up in the pulpit.
Wendy feels some sort of way. We know this. Hi, Wendy. We're so good.
Hi, Wendy. It's okay. No more caffeine. Drink water. Make sure you're having self.
I got everybody whipped up. I'm so sorry. You're right. Don't tell me the Italian food is the same here. Come on.
Go first.
I will say, I know we've got to skip around a little bit. This unretirement thing. So I can't wait. I'm hoping that they release them this week. And I mean this.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. I hope that they are releasing them next week. Where we should be getting numbers on how many employees were hired last year that were age, wait for it, 70 plus.
Yes. They're talking about turning Social Security to 70.
Yeah. We might be looking, the conservative estimates right now are that 2 million people last year were hired, part-time or full-time, just hired in general, hired that were 70 plus.
Which, great.
It's awesome. I think it's terrific.
I mean, it's like, I just wish it wasn't a situation where people have to.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing.
They
now,
have to.
some companies have been proactive in that demographic because they recognize I as the company, I have to stop looking at positions in my organization as solely or only full-time. I need to start looking at some positions as having the capability and capacity of having a good influence part-time. And that is of appeal for someone, let's say, who's 70 plus, who has great experience, who does not want to do a full-time role anymore, but honestly is like, I could do 15 hours a week. Yeah, that gives me some extra spending money. If I do need it in terms of offsetting what's been happening with my retirement plan, okay. But there's knowledge management that some companies have not done well for a long period of time, and now they're playing catch up. That's a great population of people to get to try to help backfill some of the knowledge management that wasn't done.
Let me tell you something. You know, my sister, Vegan Radiance, Lauren McKinney, is 60, left the organization. They have brought her back 3 times.
Yes.
3 times.
Yeah.
To work on special projects. And 3 times.
Listen, who just turned 70? Somebody tell me. You know who just turned 70, right?
Yep.
The big O just turned 70. Now, somebody tell me she wouldn't be beneficial to your organization. Somebody tell me that. Even part-time.
I could use a little Oprah. Just, a couple hours a week.
One of the things that I would recommend, and you and I really can talk more about this another time, but one of the things I'd recommend is make it real. Like when people say, oh gosh, we don't want to go after the 70-year-olds, 75-year-olds. I think it's really good to say, guess what? I just got an email. I have a connection. We have an opportunity to have Oprah be involved with the work that we're doing here. Watch people go, oh my gosh, John, yes, let's get that done. I had to tell her no, though, because she is 70, and I know that's not a demographic we want to go after. Cool, right? That's what you all told me. So I said no.
What are y'all doing to John? Y'all breaking him.
But I think the trick is making it personal. If you can give them a frame of reference, because people feel differently about that, right? It's like, well, that's Oprah. No, I don't know. That is a 70-year-old, well-experienced person that would bring benefit to our organization. But she's not the only 70-year-old person who could bring benefit to our organization. Why would we say we want to be dismissive of an entire population? It's silly.
It's ridiculous, especially if they can do the work. And there's so many things that you can bring, especially like bringing calm to chaos, like, let's look at the skills and the things that we need for work, please. And give me the opportunity to work at home at 2 different organizations, and I don't have to go into the office and put all those things together. And I love what Danica is saying over here. Like, let me do that where I can work with these organizations and take care of myself. I
totally agree, right? Like this list, we can feel some sort of way about it. But look at what it's trying to label and in some ways look for ways in which we can solve it. Not everything is really a trend. I get that, like this body doubling thing. Come on. I've never heard of this before. I know what body doubling is from like a film standpoint. I understand that. If you don't know about body doubling in film, look
Body
up.
doubling doesn't make any sense for ADHD.
Do you believe that? So can you
No,
explain?
I
You want
have
to explain?
ADHD. People know I have attention deficit, and they don't label it hyper. They don't call it ADHD anymore. But I digress. Body doubling involves having another person around, either physically or virtually, to help the other person get started or focus on a task. The body double doesn't help with the work, but instead keeps the person on task by working simultaneously and holding the person accountable by checking in. You know what? It's Black History Month, y'all. I have another word for that.
I can't imagine that a company would pay two people to do the one job, because that's effectively what you
Listen
have
to
to
me.
do.
Are you for real right now? Oh, I'm just gonna stand here and watch you do your work. And when you stop,
When you start to get distracted, I'm going to say,
back
Jim,
to work. Back to
Jim,
work.
Jim, right? It's like, just
Are
put a
you
shot collar on
serious?
the purpose. Come,
People
no,
are doing that?
person.
Exactly.
I don't think so.
And if you hunch down and your shoulders relax,
Michael, I appreciate what you're sharing, but I think that's going down a different road. The
that's a
show is not
fee. I
prepared
think they
for.
call that trafficking. Quiet ambition? That's stupid. Quiet quitting started the debate on work ethic and personal life balance. Now, quiet ambition describes a switch in a person's goals.
You are out of
From
control. You are out of control. That was outrageously out of control. I love you so much. Like, yes, okay. Quiet ambition. Yes, we have, what were there, 15 quiet terms on this list?
Yeah.
Just making crap up.
Loud quitting. I love loud quitting. I really kind of do. I really do think
This
I love
one,
it.
I love this phrase, but I don't know if all of it makes sense. Threat rigidity. I love that. I like that. It sounds like a band, like a punk band. Threat rigidity.
Respond to problems by stifling innovation and concentrating on what.
Yeah. The drawback of threat rigidity is that it ignores any changes in the business environment, which can limit a company's growth and innovation. Like, threat rigidity.
What?
This is such a lie. All this stuff is made, right? Barry Stahl first coined the term in the 80s. I've been around a long time. I've never heard of this term. The term has been used lately as CEOs implement strict return to work requirements. That had nothing to do with stifling innovation.
No.
But I love that. I'd go see threat rigidity open for, the Smithereens or something. Like if that was the band. I know. Poor Wendy. Wait,
Wendy is fired. Oh.
Yeah, Wendy, don't buy the Stofers. Don't do it.
Wendy, she's about to really have a moment.
I wish this call, and maybe there are. If you're a CEO or a business owner, please make sure you give yourself a shout out, because now we have the big stay. We've moved away from the great resignation to
the big stay for people are not quitting, y'all. They're not leaving.
They're not leaving.
The big stay.
I mean, give me a break.
Bare minimum Mondays.
I don't understand why we keep having to come up with this stuff. First of all, BMMs doesn't sound so great to me. So bare minimum Mondays. I don't know that BMMs. Come on.
I'm doing a BM.
I mean, right.
Bare minimum.
I'm just going to do BM all week. Well, good for you. I'm so glad to hear everything's regular.
Fiber brownies?
Yes.
Because, we're just two Gen X kids in love.
That's right. Metamucil for everyone. Yeah, it is crazy to me that we're going to, listen, when you would want to do something wrong, let me just ask questions here, right? When you would want to do something wrong, would you want to announce when you're going to be doing the thing wrong? Would you want everyone to know, you can find me stealing from someone at such and such a place date, and time. My guess is
That's not a good
you're probably
strategy.
not a good thief, I would think. So
Yeah.
when you decide to say, I'm going to thieve time and effort from a company and I'm going to do it on Mondays, so be on the lookout.
BMM, y'all.
Like,
BMM.
right? Like, yes, yes, Michael,
You
that
go
is
to your team meeting and they're like, "Where are you?" "Oh, I'm at Macy's." BMM.
PMM. I already did 2 hours worth of work today, and that's all I'm going to do.
What is wrong with
Listen,
people?
Michael,
Lazy girl job. Oh,
if
what?
I had a BMM, it was a good day because I know I feel real good. I feel real good.
Y'all are gross.
What is this number 44? Lazy
Lazy
girl job?
girl job.
What is that?
It's when you can go, people who can do their job, but then can rest at it because it's a job that doesn't require that much, but it pays a lot.
Why would we relegate that to a particular gender term?
Because I'm a work fluencer and I,
This phrase, now this is what kills me. This phrase is part of the rebellion against hustle culture. Hustle culture. So we would call something that's against hustle lazy girl job.
yeah,
And we're
that's
all
right.
okay with this.
Yeah, 32 million people are.
It got 32, yeah, views on TikTok. First of all, a whole lot of things can get views. It doesn't mean people are agreeing with it. The reason it could get 32 million views is because it's
Because people are
offensive.
like, this is absolutely stupid.
And now we have the great people shortage of 2024.
The great people shortage. Make sure you got to put the emphasis on the right syllable.
Oh,
It's not the great people shortage. It's the great people shortage.
I want to just, I'm interrupting with a PSA. I was on a call yesterday with someone who I've, a benefits broker that I'm just getting to know who's helping with a particular client. And before we hung up the call, he said, and he has a wonderful accent, and he said, uh, okay, you have a good day, and I will see you dancing tomorrow. I said, what?
Motherfucker, you ain't
See
gonna see
you.
me tomorrow.
I said, you'll
Like,
see me dancing tomorrow. This was yesterday. I will see you dancing tomorrow. He said, yes, I watch you on that show. Would you watch my first coffee? He's like, oh, yes.
listen, there's so many people that I really think I'm being real cool. You know, like I'm in the HEB picking out what kind of sausage to eat. And I'm trying to be the worst best was when I was in San Francisco, standing by myself outside, literally in the Tenderloin, trying to figure out what's the fastest way to get off of this street. And a man walks up to me and he was like, "Aren't you Jackie?" And I'm like, "Yes." Are you in HR? They're like, "No, but I watched my first coffee, and I'm in San Francisco. It was
Yeah.
completely random and it's weird. And he knew
Yeah.
you. Turned out he knew you, which was even weirder. And then it was like, that was like 20
He,
years ago.
he knew me. He knew me, and I was involved
And he
with his.
watches the show, so he saw you
And
dancing.
he saw me. So he saw me. He said, and I will see you dancing tomorrow.
He was right.
He was right. And I want him to just record that so I can play it all the time. I want that to be my ringtone. I will see you dancing tomorrow. Every time my phone rings. That would be awesome.
Listen,
I don't like,
we're almost done with this list. We're getting
I know.
close.
It's 50. Quiet cutting.
I don't like that.
I don't like it at all because I just don't like the way it sounds. It plays on the fear of a weakening job market.
No, don't
I
like
don't
that.
know about that. Um, Sick guilt is when an employee feels obligated to go to work even when they are sick. Look, people have been experiencing this for years. We never called it sick guilt, although I'm not saying it's wrong. Um, I would say it is a struggle for people who feel some sort of way. Like
Listen,
you have to know what's happening.
I talked to Rachel Kitty Couples like the day I had surgery, like the day before I had surgery, like at midnight. I can't help it.
This is first of all, Mason.
Hi, Mason. And you're right, Mason.
We do need to take it to Twitch. Don't get me, but we have such a good time with the technology here. I'm sure adding Twitch onto this will be no problem.
Absolutely. Not a problem at all. I'm sure we'll be famous. Um,
I hear Debbie Downer's music in the back of my
wah, wah. Should I just do like the octopus says,
head.
"Oh no, no, no."
Okay, listen, this one I think is pretty funny, and I might want a t-shirt. Number 49, bore
Bore
out.
out.
Bore out. What?
Unlike burnout, bore out is from a lack of purpose and engagement in one's tasks. The employee repeatedly works on tasks they perceive as pointless, and they have trouble finding value in their work.
I
You know
I
what?
I don't know. I don't know if we need a term for that. If we are at the place where we have to have a term for something like that because it's becoming identifiable, it's been going on for a long time. And really, managers and leadership need to be paying attention culturally to what's happening there for people to be at a place of that much bore out, right? Like that seems to me.
I agree. Let me see what else is on there. Oh, y'all, well-being washing. This is good.
I like
Well-being washing refers to the practice where companies prioritize projecting an image of being focused on employee well-being for external public relations while neglecting their staff. Girl, because
Listen,
y'all
I'm going
know.
to tell you this. Some of you know this, and Jackie and I know that obviously we've talked about this. I have the privilege of being involved with a well-being technology called Mobby,
Sorry.
and love. Why are you laughing at
I
me?
just because you're just adorable. That's all.
I am kind of cute. So Mobby is a great well-being platform. I cannot tell you how many companies that I've talked to who say we are committed to well-being. We want to be thoughtful of our employees. Wellness matters. And I'm like, okay, cool. This is an easy add-on. You do $10 a month, $20 a month, $30 a month, whatever you want to do. It's a great employee perk. We ain't that committed.
Oh, we don't want to invest in it.
No, we have free videos from Comcast. We show them.
Shut up.
You get free videos from Comcast. First of all, those people can't do what you're showing during the workday. They're on the manufacturing floor. What you doing? You're showing a video where in the break room of them doing a 30-minute workout. How many people are leaving the manufacturing floor to go over and do that 30-minute workout?
Mm-mm,
That's not an investment in well-being. Come on.
mm-mm. I ain't doing it. For one.
Coffee badging we talked about. Didn't we, or did we not?
No.
Coffee badging is when because people are pissed about what we're supposed to believe is that people are pissed about going back to work if
Yes.
they have to go into an office, I should say, go back to a physical work location. And so because they feel some sort of way, they show up, grab a cup of coffee badging, they swipe in with their badge so that they're marked as being there, have a cup of
I
coffee, and
love
then turn
that.
around and leave and go back
I
home.
secretly love that. I want a shirt that says, "Don't find me. I'm just coffee badging."
I'm just coffee badging.
I secretly love that.
It's crazy to me. First of all, if you're able to have that much flexibility where you can just come, swipe in, grab coffee, and leave, then
But,
they must
but
not need you at work, or you.
literally, like I said, it's been close to 15 years since I've worked in an office. Every time I go into the office, I'm like, oh, this is so neat. Like I'm always like, oh, y'all have a cafeteria. Like I think it's so like
You see what Michael put? What do they call it when I used to take a hangover nap under my desk during lunch? Here's what that term is called: smart. It's called walking in wisdom. Look at you, Michael. Good job.
Listen, we're almost done. We got a minute. 52 was office peacocking.
I feel that's supremely
Where
dirty.
they're
I'm
look
sorry.
at come back into the office. We have fluffy chairs. Um,
Creating a
50,
swankier office. We aren't getting through all this. We
yes,
are.
we only have
Oh,
two
yes, we are.
more.
Sorry. Monk
Number
mode.
53 is monk mode. When someone is in monk mode, they shut out all outside distraction and give their whole attention to a single job. Hello, I call that ADHD coping. I have to. I have to. I have to.
I don't understand. First of all, they shut out all outside distractions, right? Like you said.
Yes.
I, isn't that like kind of what you're supposed to do?
Isn't that like doing your actual
I don't
whole
know.
ass job?
I mean, you would think so. Can you put this link in this chat?
Yes.
Michael's asking for it.
And
And then the
y'all,
last
we
one,
should just tell Tech Target how we feel. I mean, I'm not trying to be hateful.
first of
Some of the
all,
words are good, but let's
if
tell
Tech
them.
Target is watching, which I hope they are, we have spent 2 weeks on their list. I ain't got nothing in the mail from them. No check, nothing.
And not a
We're
coffee mug, not a,
nothing.
no charge
I
fees.
know for sure your readership on this particular article is off the charts, and you got 3 marketing people that are trying to figure out why. It's because of us. I'm just going to say it. The last one is the great gloom. Now that the great resignation is over, a new era has arrived. The great gloom. Employee engagement continues to decrease as more employees are unhappy. That is true, that the numbers are down. Listen, y'all, just want to make sure we know this. The numbers have never been great for employee engagement. Never. Never. We've never even hit 50%. So it's never been good.
Listen, we did it. We made it through the list. I did post it in LinkedIn. I was hoping that it comes up and do that, but it is called 54 Trending HR Buzzwords. It was put out by Tech Target, and it actually just came out, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
seriously,
January 16th.
you all can message Tech Target and say, John and Jackie, they need a 5 digit
They
to
need
the
a
left
mug.
decimal check. Get that mug.
I'm
Get
so.
that mug.
He said, "Forget that mug." What? He said, "Wah wah," but you can make us
Listen,
happy.
I want to make sure, like, we're in a great mood. Jackie and I are in great moods. We are in good spirits. Please don't think we're really negative. Just don't tell me that frozen fettuccine alfredo is good Italian food. I
Because
just
it's not.
because
No,
it's
I'm so happy everybody's here. Thank you
we
so
love
much for
it.
joining us. And, you know, we are going to see you again next week when we talk about something just as irrelevant
Just
and we'll get
as
off topic.
and we'll have a blast just like we do all the time. Dan Lockhart, please message me separately about TalentNet. Thanks for
Tamika, I'm
bringing me.
sorry you got laid off. Y'all get Tamika a job. Everybody look
Oh,
on there and
Tamika,
put
will
her
you
on
do us a
there.
favor, please, in this chat,
Yeah,
which will exist after this, please make sure
add a
everybody has a
link.
way to connect with you and help because we have a wonderful community that looks to do that.
Yes. And we will see
We'll
you
see
lovely
y'all.
people next week. Click, click, click.
Bye.
Adios.